Going on? It's your boy Wise. I'm back. We're gonna get into this Miami versus USF preview. Kane's keys to victory, if you will. I think this is the first time this season where I feel like I'll be doing a real breakdown. Just based upon what we've seen. I did one for UF that I thought I covered, the basis points, but we hadn't seen UF or Miami play this year. Both of these teams got 3 games worth of film. I watched the film on USF. Um, I was watching the game when they played Bama in the first place. So I actually, I got a chance to really see them, like see them and see what they can do and things like that. So without further ado, man, we just gonna get straight into it. So um, Miami's going on the road. I will be at the game, by the way. I know a lot of Miami fans are coming up. I know there's a lot of Canes fans already in Tampa. But yeah, I'll be at the game, section 134. So hopefully I get to see some of you guys, man. I'm excited. Um, but yeah, man, we got a night game. They fans or students, however you want to call them, like they super excited. This is the most, I think, tickets students ever claimed, and they open in the upper deck. People like, oh, the environment gonna be crazy. Miami don't know what they getting themselves into, and all of this. So I'm looking forward to silence and all of that shit. Um, I don't know how many fans they're gonna have in there, whether if it's 55,000, 60, 70, don't really matter. Cam Ward shut all that shit down, and they faces looking sick, and they filing out of the stadium before the game is over, and Canes fans is in there just turning up and having a good time. Then all will be well with the world. So I'm gonna just tell y'all how I see this going in general. Um, so first things first, man. Mario said that Rivers and Cooper, Inez Cooper, should be good to go for this Saturday. Um, I'm not sure if we get Ruben Bain back or not, but we'll just start up top. So we should be pretty healthy. I believe Damari Brown is the only player we have that's key. That'll probably be out for a little while. Um, I'm hoping that maybe he returns after we make that trip to Cal. So I think that's Louisville or somewhere up in there. We'll see. But prayers for the young man. I hope he gets well. But as far as USF, man, so the first thing I'll say is a lot of people are expecting this game to be a blowout. Um, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it could be a blowout for sure. And by blowout, I mean, I would expect Miami to beat them by at least 4 scores. I could easily see 4, 5, even 6 scores being a thing. But, for me, just with watching the film, knowing what some of our deficiencies are, and just knowing how their offense and stuff is set up, I do see a scenario where Miami could be in a dogfight um, with USF probably until late third, possibly even early fourth quarter. And I'll get to why later on, but we'll start, for the people that don't know about their team. So we'll do the breakdown as far as with their players first. So um just out the gate, man. If I'm being real, so their quarterback, Byron Brown. So far this year, he has 448 passing yards. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns, and he's sitting on like 56% completion percentage. So he's averaging roughly about 149 passing yards per game. I will say though, because a lot of people have been like, "Oh, USF quarterback, he trash as fuck," and all of this or whatever. Just keeping things constant and just understanding that I watched the film from last year. this year and everything. So he did throw for 33, almost 3,300 passing yards last year. Completed 65% of his passes, threw for 26 touchdowns. He did throw 11 interceptions, but he also ran for 809 yards and had 11 touchdowns. I said all that to say, folks call him bro trash, but dude put up 4,000 yards last year and almost 40 touchdowns. So say what you want, doing that, completing 65% of your passes, um, and knowing that he was taking shots down the field. It's not like a Graham Mertz, where when I looked at his stats and saw 72%, it was all dink and dunk and they take it and go. You know, when you watch the film from last year, he was throwing the ball down the field. Um, so I will say that. He also has 256 rushing yards or 254, two touchdowns. So he's averaging about 85 rushing yards a game, which is a lot for a quarterback. So, he's definitely dangerous when he keeps that ball, if he decides to pull it or not. Um, but we'll get into that. So, he's also their leading rusher right now with 254 yards. Their next rusher is what is his name? Kelly Joyner. 33 carries, 220 yards. He averaging 7.3 yards a pop. And he got four touchdowns. And then the second part of their backfield is Naquan Wright. So everybody know Naquan. Well, Canes fans are familiar with Naquan. 33 carries, 188 yards, 5.7 a pop, two TDs. Um, so the running game is respectable. Um, Wide receiver. So he hasn't really Brown hasn't really gotten off to throwing the ball well so far this year. So their leading wide receiver, Sean Atkins, he only has 164 yards, no touchdowns, 13 catches. Um, Last year that boy went for over 1,000. So like I said, some of this stuff can be deceiving. Bro had 1,000 yards last year, so I get he only got 164 on the year, but he's nothing to play with or not consider or whatever. I think bro had like 90 catches or something. So like over 1,000 yards, 90 catches, seven touchdowns. Like I don't care what anybody says. Like that's something to respect. That's a guy to pay attention to and key in on for sure. Their next best receiver, in my opinion, like I said, the yards aren't there, but you seen he got nine receptions for 117 yards. No TDs as well. And he got his long on the year is 44 yards. So the only other receiver I guess I'll highlight is Brown Stevens, because he's the one receiver I saw with a touchdown that had some yards. So six catches, 83 yards. Um, just even when we talk about their kicker this year, what's his name? John Cannon. He's 5 of 6, so he's 83% this year. Last year he was only a 69% field goal kicker. Obviously it's a smaller clip so far, but at least initially, he started out, on the right track, the right path. I mean, 83%, 5 of 6 is great. As far as on defense, Mac Harris, I believe, is their best player. He's definitely their best linebacker for sure, but he's probably the best player on the team. He lead them in tackles. And then in general, their D line gave Bama hell. Okay, so I'm not necessarily keying in on one guy. 75 for Alabama was getting his ass kicked all night. I think once they took him out, then it kind of switched up. But just in general, man, they D line was giving them hell. I would even go out on a limb and say that I don't even think it's a limb. This is going to be the best defensive line we faced all year, in my opinion. I definitely think their D line is better than Florida's, mainly because they have they generate pressure for real. So they're sacking the quarterback. They're generating pressures on a regular basis. They were winning one-on-one battles with Alabama. They were blitzing and things like that, but they definitely were whooping Bama ass up front in the trenches. Well, the D line was winning a lot of battles. Bama was doing a lot of fucking holding. I mean, a lot of holding. I mean, one of the calls in particular was now that was on their side of the ball where they cheated USF on that, but on the touchdown pass that Milrow threw to number six, they were holding, I believe, like number 34, like it was a bad hold. And Milrow stepped up, he tossed it to him, touchdown. They didn't call it, but it was some egregious stuff going on during that game. So I don't want anybody taking a D line lightly. It's the best D line we faced all year. And I'm pretty sure the coaching staff obviously knows that and they will prepare as such. One of the things that I want to just key on, in general, so USF, they're averaging what? Like 37.7 points a game. All right. Now, the first week they played Bethune-Cookman, put up what? 48. They put up 48 on Bethune-Cookman, beat them 48-3. The following week they go and play Bama. Obviously, they lose that game 42-16. But what I want to point out is there was 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The score was 16-21. Okay, so Bama scored them 3 touchdowns late. I watched at least from the third quarter on. Bama broke the game open late in the fourth quarter due to some assistance with the referees, as well as I just think that USF couldn't take any more body blows from them guys. And if I'm being real, Brown was just playing like a piece of shit as far as passing the ball. That boy was 15 of 35 for like 105 yards. Like that's fucking awful. But just in general, man, when you watch the tape, like how Bama was getting after them, he has no presence, no pocket presence for real. Like, I mean, I saw some plays where he didn't even really move, even though he's mobile. Like he called Hut, he didn't even really move. And then he don't know what he's doing in that pocket, at least this year. I'm not sure about the linemen and things they may or may have not lost since last year, but it does look different. His level of comfortability isn't there yet. And they're going to try to key in on that. This is a game where they'll try to, get things on track with the passing game. So I do expect them to attempt to go downfield on us. The same way UF did. I expect them to try to go over top and hit different people, whether if it's Yassine or Stevens or Atkins, just making different plays, man. So we need to be aware of that for real. Um, the one thing I do want to point out too is they're not good on third down. They're only converting 38% of their third downs, which is not a good conversion rate. And, we're one of the best defensively in the country, if not the best, at getting off the field on third downs. Um, they are averaging like 269 rushing yards a game. So obviously I said Brown is part of that. So Brown, Joyner, and Naquan. That's what they got, right? So, and they did run for over 200 on Bama, so it's not like everything is inflated because they played Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss, right? So they played Southern Miss last week. Um, they was down 14-0 in that game. um, we not no Southern Miss, bro. Southern Miss put up 24 points on these dudes, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so they averaging like 425 yards a game. They've already given up 11 sacks though. So, if you factor in that in and you look at it however you want to look at it, they're giving up over 3 sacks a game. So that's that. We'll touch on that later. Um, but in general, man, I do think they have some talent. I think they're gonna come to play, and we need to do what we need to do for sure in order to keep all of that shit in check. Just being totally honest. But for us, man, now I'm gonna go ahead and do our side, but y'all know what was going on as far as with Cam Ward. 73% completions, 1,035 yards, 11 touchdowns, only one pick so far. Damien Martinez is obviously our leading rusher at 159 yards on the year. one touchdown. Y'all know we've been splitting the carries up. So you got Martinez with that. Fletcher's been getting his yards. Jordan Lyle has been playing well. AJ Allen had a good game last game. Obviously, y'all know X is leading us in receiving yards, 14 catches, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns. Y'all know who our key guys are. We gonna get Arroyo involved. Um, Obviously X. We gonna get Horton involved. Jacoby had a good game last week. Hopefully Sam Brown ain't dropping shit this week. I expect Riley to get involved. CJ. We'll probably see CJ and Lofton again. Our O line will be back at full strength. So, like I said, it'll be important because I think this is going to be our biggest test, so far. Um, but in general, man, I think we'll be fine, man. We're scoring 53 points a game. I think we're putting up over 600 yards worth of offense per game. So, like, I'm not really concerned with nothing that they can quote unquote do to us or bring to the table or whatever, if I'm being honest. But there are, certain things that I will say we need to make sure are clean, right? So, and we just gonna get into this. I'm watching the film, I'm looking at, what they call on offense and stuff like that. And one of my main concerns is when Kiko isn't responsible for the quarterback. So rather if it's whatever we're in defensively, alignment wise, whatever they're running, I feel like when Kiko is responsible for Brown, he's gonna do the job that he's supposed to do pretty much every fucking time. And as long as he does that and tackles in space or keeps his assignment steady, then we're good, right? This is me being real. Whenever that responsibility falls on Wesley, I'm not confident that Wesley's going to make the right play and keep his discipline and keep his integrity. Brown will make a move and then boom, boom, and he's going north and south. Like he's not a bunch of the east and west. He'll make a move and then he'll go. The level of discipline that Wesley's going to have to show, at whatever point, if that's his assignment on certain plays, he's going to have to be on point. So that's where I say this game could be an absolute blowout if Wesley does what he needs to do and Kiko does as well, as far as the quarterback run stuff or however we're fitting there to keying it up or doing whatever. We got to be on point with that shit. If we're not on point with it, it might be a fucking problem. I'm just being real. Um, so we'll see what Wesley does, man. I'm not sold on it. And like I said, I don't have no affiliation to nobody. I'm just a normal fan, just like everybody else. I call shit how I see it. There's a lot of bad run fits that he has done this year. There's wrong keys that I've seen. The positioning is wrong. I mean, coming in with the wrong shoulder. Wesley has been notorious for bad pursuit angles since he's been here. I don't think I've seen any this year so far, but until I see him in those situations, I can only go by what I've seen. So, hopefully he's on point. And then when it comes to their run game in general, the run game is legit. Joyner has legitimate speed. I saw him break like a 50-yard run on Bama that they called back on a bullshit holding penalty. So he got speed, he got some pop. If he get in there and get a hole, he will try to slide. Naquan is Naquan. He can make some good plays for you, but he the same Naquan since high school. Bro, not gonna crib shit. He doesn't have great speed. He has a pretty good initial burst, but he doesn't have a second gear. But he makes good plays, right? He can make you some good plays, but he's not cribbing nothing. So you wrap him up, bring him down to the ground, we'll be good. Um, and then just with the receivers, like I said, man, don't sleep on Atkins. Like that boy had 1,000+ last year. So we got to make sure, he's keyed on and just make sure everything is good, man. This should be a really simple game if we just do what we're supposed to do from an assignment perspective. Okay, that's all we have to do. The the matchups are in our favor in every which way. Okay. So what? They're giving up, how many points are they giving up? Like 20 points or something. They giving up 23 points a game. Okay, so they giving up 23 points a game. Um, so you know right there, Southern Miss put up 24 on them. And Bama put up the 42, whatever. You already know, bro, like the minimum amount of points Miami is gonna score this game, and I do mean minimum, absolute minimum, would be like 31. And that's if it's like 31-3. So just being realistic, you know Miami is scoring 38 plus. Okay, that's worst case scenario. South Florida's not scoring 38 points on us. They're not going to even score 31 points on us. So if we being real, we keeping it funky, even if the game ends up being tight because we don't do what we're supposed to do assignment wise, but they're still not going to win because they're not going to stop us from scoring. They can't. They're not good enough. On the back end, that shit Swiss cheese. Um, the linebackers will make some plays. The D line will be aggressive or whatever. But at the end of the day, bro, we got Cam Ward. He's the X factor. It is what it is. USF can't fuck with us. Um, but the other things that don't play in their favor, we're one of the best passing we have one of the best passing defenses in the nation. The D line is the best D line that they are gonna see. Yeah, better than Bama's without a doubt, right? And we only given up like a little bit of passing yards. Like, bro, we're barely giving up anything. And they're only doing 149 a game passing. I will say I do expect them to do a little better than what they've been doing so far, just because, but in general, come on, man. Y'all can't even get passing yards. We have a great passing defense. They struggle at converting third downs. We have one of the best third down defenses in the country. They're giving up 11 sacks so far on the season, over three per game. We're going to get at least 3 sacks. I got Miami doing 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss or more on these boys. Like, it is what it is, bro. I just think it's a bad matchup for them. I know they're gonna be hyped. They fans gonna be this and that. Listen, I watched the fucking film, bro. They can't fuck with us. That's just me keeping it funky. We definitely got to show up and handle business, but they not gonna be able to stop Cam Ward, bro. They not. They're not going to be able to stop Cam Ward like that. Those are just the facts. They're already giving up 237 passing yards per game. Like you played fucking Bethune-Cookman, Tate Rodemaker last week, and them boys, Southern Miss, bro, Southern Miss put up almost 500 yards on these boys. And then they played Jalen Milroe. Come on, man. Let's be for real. That single high safety shit I keep seeing y'all post online, stop posting it. You know there's no way in USF right fucking mind that they gonna do that single high shit they was doing with Milroe with Cam. So y'all stop posting that. If they do that single high shit at all at any point in the game, a big play or a tutty is guaranteed. Like, don't even play with Cam Ward like that. So you know they not coming out of no shit like that. They probably gonna break out some shit they haven't really done the whole year. They're gonna try to, show something new, confuse us or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're gonna dominate them in the trenches, is what this game comes down to. On both sides of the ball, we're gonna do what we need to do in the trenches. They DBs can't fucking cover us, and we got Cam Ward. On defense, we got to just make sure we're sound at tackling. It's going to be paramount that we make these plays. We got to tackle these guys when they're in space for sure. We might see a lot of quick hitters initially to get Brown going, just because overall he has been in a funk. Um, but I expect us to come out and smack shit. So we'll see what happens overall with how the game flows and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I got Miami winning. They covering the spread for sure. I don't know if the spread, when I first looked at it, I think it was like 16 and a half or 17. So, you know, if you into that, Miami's covering the spread. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. But just go in there, shut their fans the fuck up. Go ahead and put all of these points on their head. Um, and it is what it is, bro. The film doesn't lie. I've looked at a lot of the different things that, that they are doing, have done, and even defensively, bro. Like when they played Southern Miss last week, some of the shit that they was doing to them and that I saw happen, and I'm like, bro, there's no fucking way y'all think y'all can fuck with Miami. I know they played their hearts out against Bama, thought they was getting the upset and all of that, but this ain't that. We ain't Bama. We coming in there to smack shit. My score prediction, I think the score will probably be like 45-20, somewhere up in there. I don't think they get more than 20. I think that would be crazy. I'm only giving them 20 just because there's a possibility it could be tight at a point in the second half when we could pull away. But um, other than that, man, they not fucking with us. So y'all tell me what y'all think, as far as how y'all think the game gonna go, do some score predictions or whatever. Honestly, man, I personally think this is the game that Damien Martinez, if they give him more than 15 touches, I think he's really gonna go off on these boys. Um, that's just my personal opinion. I think Cam Ward is gonna be Cam Ward, but if they give Martinez a minimum of 15 touches, I expect a big game from him for sure. Definitely expect a big game from Martinez. But like I said, man, I got it 45-20. I will be at the game, section 134. If you go into the game and y'all gonna be there, feel free to discuss that as well in the comments. Other than that, I'll have the review for this game out probably Tuesday. So we go in here and handle business, man, and bring home the W. You already know, man. I'm out.